Imagine you're lying in your bed, the night creeping in, and your thoughts are swirling around in a haze. Suddenly, the room feels different. A cold presence fills the air. A figure appears in the shadows. It's not an angel, not a friendly face, but a demon. He doesn't look like what you'd expect from horror stories. He simply exists there, watching you, and then he asks you something that you'll never forget. Would you want to live your life the same way, over and over again? Eternally, every decision, every heartbreak, every triumph, all replaying in an endless loop. Would you say yes? This is the essence of Nietzsche's idea of the eternal return, and it's a question that, at first, might terrify you. But as we dig deeper into it, you'll see that this isn't just some eerie thought experiment. It's a question that challenges everything about how we live our lives. It asks whether we're living in a way that we would want to live over and over again. You see, the eternal return isn't just about whether we want to live forever. It's about how we approach each day, each choice, and each moment. It's a reflection of whether the life you're living today is one that would make you happy to relive for eternity. And here's the thing. This question doesn't just serve as a philosophical curiosity. It forces us to evaluate our lives deeply. Are we really living, or are we simply passing through the days? Think about it. How many of us, deep down, wish we could go back and change things? Regret is something everyone feels at some point. What if I'd done things differently? What if I'd made that decision instead? These are the types of questions that flood our minds. But Nietzsche's challenge with the eternal return is different. It doesn't just ask what we would change. It asks what we would accept and what we'd be proud to live again eternally. When we ask ourselves if we would be okay living our life over and over, we're forced to really think about the choices we make, the little ones, the daily habits, the way we treat people, the work we do, the things we procrastinate on, and the dreams we put off for later. The truth is, we often live life as if it's fleeting, as if there will be time to do things later, when, in reality, time is all we have. The eternal return challenges this thinking. It says, what if you had to live every decision, every moment again, forever? Would you be okay with that? Would you be proud of how you've spent your time? Let's break this down practically. Imagine waking up tomorrow, but tomorrow is the same as today, and then the next day, and the next, and the next. Every conversation, every feeling, every struggle, it repeats. How would you feel about that? At first, it might sound suffocating. The thought of endless repetition can feel like a trap, but here's the twist. If you were truly proud of your life, if you were living intentionally, you wouldn't fear this repetition. You'd embrace it. The idea of having to relive your life over and over would fill you with a sense of joy and pride because you've lived it fully, in alignment with your values. This is the heart of Nietzsche's challenge. It's not about getting rid of the bad parts. The eternal return isn't about erasing pain or regret. It's about fully embracing your life as it is, every part of it. Life isn't about waiting for perfection. It's about making today worth reliving. It's about making decisions today that make you proud, regardless of how small or insignificant they may seem. Think about a moment in your life that felt impactful, one you're proud of. Maybe it was a kind word you shared with someone when they needed it, or the time you took to help a friend. Maybe it was a choice to follow your passion, even when it was hard. Maybe it was the way you took care of yourself during a difficult time. Now imagine living that moment again and again, eternally. Does it still bring you a sense of peace, of accomplishment, or would you wish for something else? This is where the real power of Nietzsche's idea comes into play. Living a life that you would want to repeat. It's not about being perfect. It's about living authentically, about making conscious choices that reflect who you truly are. It's about moving away from autopilot and deciding that Every action, every word, every thought is a reflection of the life you want to create. This leads us to an important realization. Our choices define our lives. If we don't take responsibility for the small moments, then how can we expect to live a life we'd want to relive? Let's look at a real-life example. Take someone like Steve Jobs, for instance. Jobs wasn't a perfect person. He had his flaws, his moments of harshness, and even failures, but he was relentless in living according to his values. He worked on projects that mattered to him, even when others doubted him. His life, with all its ups and downs, was a life that, in many ways, he'd be willing to relive, because he poured himself into what he loved. In contrast, think of someone who lives on autopilot, going through the motions of a job they don't care about, living with regrets and unfulfilled potential. If that person had to live their life again, would they be happy with the choices they made? Likely not. The eternal return challenges us to examine whether the life we're living is one we'd be content with eternally. So here's the question. Are you living in a way that would make you proud to relive forever? Or are you letting the days slip by without truly engaging in them? The real message here is not to fear the repetition of life, but to take this concept and live fully, intentionally, and authentically, so that no matter how many times you might live it, you'll be proud of what you've created. Nietzsche said, "The eternal return forces us to ask, am I living the life I would want to relive forever? If the answer is no, it's time to make small changes." Nietzsche doesn't suggest drastic transformations, but rather small, intentional actions each day that shape the life we want to live. Living with intention is the first key takeaway from the eternal return. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or hoping things will change on their own. Each small choice you make, how you spend your time, how you treat others, how you show up for yourself, builds the life you'll relive. Every decision, whether big or small, leads you toward a life worth repeating. But living fully isn't only about embracing the good moments. It's about accepting the difficult ones, too. Life isn't always about avoiding pain or seeking happiness. It's about balance. Even in hardship, there's growth. Think of a tough time in your life. At the time, it might have been hard to understand, but looking back, you may see how it shaped you. Takeaway number 2, embrace both the good and the bad. Life is a mix of joy and struggle, and it's through both that we grow. The difficult moments add depth and meaning to life. So ask yourself, are you living fully? Embrace each moment, good and bad, because that's what makes life meaningful. Takeaway number 3, don't wait for life to happen. Make it happen. Start now with small, intentional choices. Every day is an opportunity to shape your future. As you reflect on Nietzsche's eternal return, remember that the power to shape your life lies in your hands. The choices you make today are the building blocks of your future. So live in a way that you would want to repeat forever. Make your life one that you would proudly relive again and again. You have the power to create a life that's truly worth living today and always.